So namaste everyone, welcome to Advaita Vedanta Satsang House. The ongoing sessions offered by Bindoji are on Bhagavad Gita with an interpretive eye coming from Advaita but also including other traditions. We are on class number 17. The replays for all the other rooms including the introductory lecture is available both in Clubhouse's replays or in the link shared in the chat on YouTube, Advaita Retold channel. Basic housekeeping, we'll close down the chat and hand raising for the hour when Bindoji will be talking, and after that we will open up the chat and the hand raising for about half an hour. Over to you, Bindoji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash. Namaste, everyone. Let me start my invocation. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Vamshirishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purana Malayam Karanalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loga Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharjam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutravashi Kridau Vande Bhagavandau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murtiveda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The Gita Dhyana Slokam. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudramarutaha Tunvandi Divyaistavai Vedai Sangapadakramो Upanishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyandam Nabidussura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. In the last class, we have done the 20th verse, and we will be moving to the 21st verse. Well, this 21st verse is a very important verse as far as we are concerned. The reason is that it is in this verse where Shankaracharya is describing a lot of aspects about the nature of Atma which makes us free from our bondages. At the same time, what happens when we do not have the conviction and knowledge of Atma in our nature. He is elaborating it in such a long way that once we complete that, I don't think anybody will have any doubt on that. So having said that, let me read the verse and split it up, explaining the word by word meaning. Then we will start analyzing Shankaracharya's commentary. Veda vinashinam nityam yaha majam avyayam enam ajam avyayam kadam sap purushapartha kam khadayadi kam andikam. Veda means knows. If it is third person, knows. Avinashinam, the imperishable. Nityam, the eternal. Yaha, one who. Enam, this Atma, which is ajam, avyayam, which is free from birth, therefore free from decay. Katam, how, sa, that person, sa purushaha, kam khadayati, whom can he cause to be killed? Handikam, whom will he kill? O Partha. So, Krishna is saying, dear Partha, dear Arjuna, one who knows the Atma as imperishable and eternal, also free from birth and decay, etc. That person, how can he be a cause for killing others, or whom can he be a cause for getting killed, and whom can he kill? Now the meaning is very simple and straightforward. There is no way any confusion can happen. Simple, straightforward. But the first part and the second part are intricate in its own nature. So before starting this verse, Shankaracharya writes that Hanana kriyayaha karta karmacha na bhavati iti pratitnyaya na jayate ityanena avirkriyatvat hetum avirkriyatvam hetum uktva pratitnyartham upasamharati. Now he is saying that pratiknya, or that, the declaration which he had made, na jayate mriyate va kadachit. What it is a declaration. This Atma is never born nor dying, etc. is a declaration which he has made. Now here he is concluding that in this verse as per Shankaracharya. One who considers Atma to be the killer by this sloka, Atma does not become the karta or karma, the act of killing. Having proposed in this manner, not born, that is najayate, by this sloka having mentioned the reason for its changelessness, or rather, by stating that the possibility of modifications are not there for Atma, and if the reading is avikriyatvam, that is, the translation will be the reason for form in the form of changeless in Atma, and now Bhagavan concludes the idea what has been proposed in that verse, that Atma is akarta. We are all Atman, not the body, which is having birth, decay and death, etc. So when we are the Atma, which is changeless, ajo nitya shashwatoyam puranaha. So that verse which we should remember. If that is the Atma, then how can that Atma be a killer of anything else? Or how can the Atma be a cause for making somebody else to kill? Both. Neither he can be an instrument in getting somebody killed, which is Krishna say when he said, Tasmad Yudhyasva Bharata. He is making his point very clear. Therefore fight, O Arjuna. When he said that, there will be a doubt on the listener's mind that Krishna is now the cause for Arjuna to take up the arms and fight and kill others. So the Arjuna becomes the instrument of killing. No, Krishna becomes the instrument of killing and Arjuna becomes the killer. But Krishna knows that he is Atma. So he is talking from Atma's point of view. The one who knows Atma, how can he be an instrument to the killing? He is clarifying his own stand. And Arjuna, if you know that you are Atma, from what I have explained till now, then how can you be the killer? because there is no killing actually happening. There is nothing which you can kill, because ajam, therefore, na jayate mriyate. It is neither born nor being made to die, nor the in-between things like growth, decay, etc. So, even if you see them in the physical body is not the individual. So, keeping that in mind, I am Atma, and I am not being an instrument. How? Because avinashinam nityam, ajam enam, ajam avyayam veda. One who knows Atma as without death or decay, nasha, nityam eternal, ajam unborn, avyayam means no modification, no metamorphosis which is taking place. So the second line is katam sapurusha partha khadayati handikam becomes a rhetoric. How can such a person be an instrument or a killer? Is what Krishna's intended meaning is. To explain that, Shankaracharya is now getting into the detailed description. Veda avinashinam iti. Yaha vedati. Ye Veda vijanati avinashinam antyabhava vikara rahitam nityam viparinama rahitam yo vedaha idi sambandhaha yena purvena mantrokta lakshanam ajam janma rahitam avyayam apakshaya rahitam kadam kena prakarena saha vidwan purushaha atikritaha hanti ananakriyam karoti katam va ghatayati antaram prayojayati. So that two sentences are there. One who knows this self whose nature has been mentioned as earlier in the sloka as indestructible, free from metamorphic changes, free from birth, free from decay, etc. By which method, how can this wise person be qualified to receive the knowledge and has the right, received the knowledge, that is, the knowledge has been transformative in nature, in him. How can he be qualified to kill, or how he can be an instigator to kill? So here, qualified is the word, which is to be understood very clearly. The qualification of the knower of Atma. That aspect is what is being brought by Shankaracharya very clearly. Vidwan Purusha is the word what he has used. Saha Adhikritaha means well qualified. Vidwan, the knower, or Vid, Brahmavid, Brahmaiva Bhavati. We have heard this again. And Brahmavid Apnodi Param in the Taittiriya Upanishad, that also we have heard. So Vidwan Purushaha is the one who has become, or he has realized his true nature is Atma or Brahman. So he can never be, once who he is nothing, he is like the space, everywhere, eternal, infinite in nature. So, can the space be a killer? Even though the killing takes place inside the space, can the killer be, the way the space be a killer? Or can the space be an instrument to kill? if Atma is subtler than space, then what to talk about Atma? Katanchit kanchit na hanti, katanchit kanchit na ghatayati. Iti upayatra akshepaha eva arthaha prasnartha asambhavam and asambhavat. In both the cases, upayatra, a wise person does not kill anyone or does not kill in any manner, nor as an instrument or instigator for anyone to be killed in any manner. Rhetoric alone is the meaning of, because of the impossibility of an interrogative sense. The question Khatam Khatayati Kantikam is a apparently interrogative words in Sanskrit. Khatam means in what manner or in how. Kam means Hantikam, whom can he kill? Is the interrogative questions. But here, being rhetoric in nature, each wise person does not kill anyone or does not kill in any manner, nor does he instigate in anyone or in any manner to kill. So that is a rhetoric statement which is being told by Krishna to make Arjuna that I am telling you to fight the war because I know the truth. I am the one who knows Atma as my nature. So when I am instructing you, don't take it as an ordinary instruction like how the Purvakanta or Mimamsa is telling that, Agnihotram Juhyad means one who should do Agnihotram. Or like that, there are Vidhi and Nisheda. Ordering and, prohibiting in the Vedas. So the question can come, people who are attuned to the Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa, that is the Vedic ritual part, will immediately find the meaning similar to that in the Purva Mimamsa, where that, that this yajna should become done. Putrakamo yajayet, Surgakamo yajayet. One who desiring putra or surga should do yaga. That way he will think, handikam, khadayati katam. All those things he will appear to be as instrumental or in the nature. Hetvartasya avikriyatwasya tulyatvad vidushaha sarvakarma pratishedaha eva prakarartaha abhipretoho bhagavata andehetu akshepaha udaharanartatvena katita. The literal meaning, if you read that sentence, is since the implication of the reason, that means the reason for denial of killing, etc., is the changeless of the self and is the reason holds good with regard to all actions for a man of realization. That is the reason for denial of killing. The immutability of the self, that is another reason, is common with regard to all actions. So it is not only about talking about the killing, it is about all actions. Therefore, the negation of all kinds of actions in the case of a man of realization is what Lord conveys as the meaning of this section. But the denial of the act of killing has been cited by of an example. But if you want to make a intended meaning or a sensible translation, the reason for negation of slaying applies to all actions alike. Even though Krishna has mentioned here khadayati hantikam is the reason why that word is being used, because he is addressing Arjuna, who is refusing to act. What the Lord means to teach in this section to all of us is the negation of all actions for a wise person. The negation of the specific act of slaying being meant only as an example. So, we are not Arjuna in a war where we have to kill our enemies. So here the same example which Krishna says, how will he kill, or how will be an instrument for making somebody else to do the job of killing for him, is to be treated as all actions. How can he be an agency for action? Because there is no second one to him. Therefore, where will the activity take place? Can the space move in itself? Can the way space have any activity in itself? By itself? No. So, it should be all actions from the wise man's point of view. One who is realized that I am Atma. See, this aspect of transposing ourselves Atma and seeing it from the Atma point of view is very difficult for those who are identified with the individuality, ego, and with the body-mind complex. Because they cannot even in the wildest of the dream imagine a state where they are not able to see that aspect of awareness as their nature. Only if you see from the point of view as an awareness, as a sakshi, you can see that the activities are by appearance seems to be happening in the waking or in the dream. But we are able to negate it. But we are not able to negate it in the waking. That is where our ego is hardened and, fixed with our identity. Therefore, we are not acting is not a thought which can be harbored by us as long as we hold on to the ego that I am the human being doing this, doing that, living this, living that, etc. Now people will immediately say, don't you think that you will have hunger, thirst, pain, pleasure, etc.? Even a man whose leg has been amputated or hand has been amputated does not have the pain when he goes to his deep sleep. A person who is hungry and thirsty, when he falls asleep, in the sleep, he doesn't feel the thirst or the hunger. So we are experiencing a state where there is no hunger, thirst, or pain of the body. All those things are experienced by us in our experiences. And the deep sleep is for that very purpose only. We are able to detach or declutch ourselves from the ideation that we are the waker alone. But we need to develop that attitude or that approach to our life, that what we are in our deep sleep is what we are in our waking also. But just as our mind is projecting the dream and we became a dreamer, the waking is also projected by us and became a waker in the waking. Only if we do that, or if we are able to appreciate that, we can become the Sakshi in the waking. Otherwise, we are doing it intellectually. And we will fall back into our routine the moment we are not intellectually abiding that. But the Upanishad has said that it has to be in every experience, pratibodham. All experiences has to be seen in the eyes of the Sakshi. The experience means both action and reaction and the details of the experience. The subject, object. That is where I often say, that Trishu Dhamasu yad bhogyam bhokta bhogasta yad bhavet tebhyo vilakshana sakshi. That is that place where when we can identify ourselves as the witness. So that is what is the meaning intended by Krishna when he said, how can a wise person, a person who has identified himself as an Atma, Vidwan, how can he be a killer or be an instrument for killing or be a agent for all activities and not able to become, not able to become, he is not an agent for the activities of the body, etc. also. It is not that Atma is present, therefore the body is acting. That is also a false belief which we can develop. Because in my presence, everything is happening. Because then I become the, instigator for the activity. Both are being denied by Krishna here in this statement. So the question is coming up from the Purva Pakshi. Nanu ukta eva atmanaha avikriyatvam sarva karma asambhava karana visheshaha. Indeed, the specific reason for negation or the impossibility of all actions was told as that of the changeless Atma. Is it that what you are saying? The opponent is re-verifying from Shankaracharya. So he says, Satyamukta. Yes, that is what is told. Natu saha karana visheshaha anyatvad vidushaha avikriyat atmanaha nahi avikriyam stanu vidivataha karmana sambhavati iti chet. So now, when he's made the statement that, yes, that is what was told, the opponent has some more question to it. He's saying that, however, Atma is not particular reason for negation in the cases of a wise person. Because the wise person is different from changeless Atma. He is now differentiating Atma and the wise man are two different people. Therefore, it is not a specific reason. He is giving an example from the ordinary life. Action does not become possible for a person who knows that a pillar to be a changeless, and that is not tenable indeed. So he is telling that Atma is like a pillar, changeless. The pillar is different. The person who is knowing Atma, who is knowing the pillar is different. He is considering that as his approach. So the wise person knows the Atma as changeless. That doesn't make the wise person changeless. Shankaracharya refutes that. No. Vidushaha atmatvad. Because of the wise person being Atma himself. Na dehadi sangatasya vidvata. The body, mind, sense complex is not the knower. Ataha, therefore, parisheshyat asamhataha atma vidwan avikriyaha iti tasya vidushaha karma sambhavat akshepo yuktaha katam sap purusha iti. Therefore, by law of exclusion, a wise person who is the self, which is distinct from the body, mind, sense complex, is actionless. Therefore, action being impossible to such a person, wise person, the negation of karma in the following manner, how that person can be a killer or be a cause to be killed, is proper. That is what the Shankaracharya's statement is. How does he differentiate? Atmatvad, that is one word he has used. He knows that Atma here means the self. So when I am saying I am not, if I am a wise person, when he says I, that I is, he referring to is the Atma. Whereas an ignorant person, when he says I, he is identifying himself with the body, mind, sense complex. See the difference between the two? Krishna, when he said that, Krishna is talking from Atma Bhavana, as he is the Atma. But here the opponent, when he heard it, he is an ignorant person. He thinks that I, Atma Bhava means the body, mind, sense complex. And that is the Atma for him. That is why the difference in the the opponent is keeping on asking these type of questions. Now Shankaracharya is explaining it further. Yada buddhyadi ahritasya shabdad adhyarthasya avikriyaha eva san buddhivritti aviveka vijnanena avidyaya upalabdha atma kalpyate evameva atmana atma anatma vivekya jnanena buddhivritya vidyaya asatya rupa eva paramartataha avikriyaha eva atma vidwan uchyate. So, yatha atma avikriyaha eva san. Now, the Gambhirananji's translation and my Swamiji's translation, that there is difference in it. Gambhiranandaji's statement is like that. As on an account of lack of knowledge of the distinction between the self and the modifications of the intellect, the self, though verily immutable, is imagined through the ignorance to be the perceiver of objects like sound, etc., presented by the intellect. In this very way, self, which is in reality immutable, is said to be the knower because of its association with the knowledge of the distinction between the self and the non-self, which knowledge is a modification of the intellect and its unreal nature. Whereas the other reading is like that. Just as due to ignorance born lack of discrimination between the self and the non-self, the self remaining changeless alone is considered to be the knower, upalabdha, of the objects such as sound, etc., brought to it by the buddhi as sense objects. Similar to that, due to the thought occurring in the buddhi, aham brahmasmi buddhi, which is due to the discriminative knowledge of the self and the non-self in the wise person, this knowledge, which is of the real nature alone from the standpoint of absolute reality, remaining changeless alone, Atma get the status of Vidwan. So here, the real meaning is that the one who has now the discriminative intellect with the knowledge that Aham Brahmasmi, I am the Atman or Brahman, there, that person doesn't become changeless. But the Atma in him, or Atma whom he is now identifying with himself, is the one which is having the realization that I am changeless. Therefore, it is the Atma which we are calling as Vidwan, not the Vidwan is telling that I am the Atma. See the difference between the two? One side, we are calling the Vidwan as the Atmavit, Brahmavit. Brahmavit, Brahmaiva Bhavati. He knows that he is Brahman or Atma. And that he has developed the skill for the discrimination. In the Adhyasa Bhashya of Brahma Sutra, Shankaracharya says that the non-self activity is put on the self, whereas the self has no agency or activity, and that self is now the being imagined as I am that, as the inert body. So, iteretara adhyasa. The self-thinking, the self being assumed as the body-mind complex, and the activities of the body-mind complex is now superimposed onto the Atma, which is non-agent at all. And this is Nisarga, Naisargigoyam Loka Vyavaharaha. This is how the waking happens. It is the nature of the waking, it is like that. In the waking, we identify with our physical body. I am a human being, name, form, activity, relationship, ownership, everything is taken as that of the Atma. When I say, I am so and so, I am born to him, I am staying in such and such a place, I am owning such and such properties, he is my son, or she is my wife. All those things, I and me, mine, everything is based on the relationship with the body, which is saying I. Actually, I is the Atma, not the ego, which is now representing Atma in the body and saying that I am. But when you develop the discriminative power, you are able to declutch yourself from the stronghold of ego to even objectify the ego as a resident property of the body-mind complex. It is not mine. The ego is functioning as it is the nature of the body-mind complex. Just as the nature of the body-mind complex is to become young, old, middle-aged, and death and decay, or using the sense organs, the objects outside. All those things are done by the body. Now, all those activities, when you report it, you say, I am seeing, I am eating, I am sleeping, she is my wife, he is my child, property, everything which is becoming, which is that of the body, becomes that of Atma. Because you are using the word I. Whereas the I is taintless awareness. Awareness can never marry. Awareness can never hold property. Awareness can never be indulged in the sense organs. Nothing. It is, even when the sense organs are getting indulged in the sense activity, awareness is the substratum in which it is happening. It is not that awareness is doing anything or not. It is neither prompting the sense organs to become active also. This aspect is what is being told in this particular verse when this is being told. Vidushaha karma asambhava vachanat yani karmani shastrena vidiyante tani avidushoho vihidani iti bhagavataha nishchayo avagamyate nishchayaha avagamyate. Because of the statement of the impossibility of the action for a wise person, which has been very clearly mentioned in the 219 and 221. Whichever actions prescribed by the Shastra, the scriptures, are prescribed for the ignorant person who thinks that the Shastra is prescribing activity for me to achieve or for me to undertake. Such a conclusion is what Krishna wants us to understand. This is not what we should be taking it as the literal meaning of the word. Nanu vidyapi avidushaha eva vidiyate. Now the opponent is not easily accepting that. Nanu vidyapi avidushaha eva vidiyate vidida vidyasya ishtapeshanavat vidya vin anarthikas vidya vidana anarthakyad tatra vidushaha avidushaha karmani vidiyante na vidushaha iti visheshaha na upapadyate iti chet. Now the question is being asked. This is the doubt. However, even knowledge is prescribed for the ignorant person only, because there will be uselessness of prescribing knowledge to a person who already attained the knowledge. Like grinding what has been already ground. Pishtapeshanavat. That being so, both knowledge and action being prescribed for the ignorant one, actions are prescribed for the ignorant person and not for the wise person. This distinction is not tenable. That is the doubt. He is very logical in his thing. If knowledge is to make you wise, the wise person is already wise. So why should he be given the knowledge or instructed knowledge in the Shastra? Shastra is instructing karma, actions. You say actions are for the ignorant and knowledge is for the wise. So my doubt is, if the wise is prescribed with the knowledge, will it not be like grinding the already ground grain like a pishta poshanavat? The grain has been ground like a butter already. Now you keep on grinding again. That will be a foolish activity. Same way, the wise person is already endowed with wisdom. Then why should there be wisdom instruction for him? A very valid question by the opponent. Shankaracharya says, no, it is not like that. Anushteyasya bhava bhava vishesha upapatte agnihotradi vidhyartha jnanottara kalam agnihotradi karma aneka sadhana upasamhara purvaka anushteyam kartaham mama kartavyam ityevam prakara vijnanavataha avidushaha yada anušteyam bhavati natu tada na jayate ityadhyatma swarupa vidyartha jnana uttarakala bhavi ityadi the jnanottaravala kavi kaschit anušteyam bhavati kintu naham karta naham bhokta ityadi atma ekatva akritattvadi vishayat jnanat na anyat upapadyate iti esha vishesha upapadyate. He is saying no, it is not like that. Because of the tenability of the distinction of the presence and absence of what is to be done in the sentence of scriptures for Agnihotra, etc. What is to be done, but Atma related sentences present in this nothing to be done. In the case of Agnihotra, once Agnihotra Juhyad, that statement is that you have to do Agnihotra, Yaga. The person who is now heard this statement from the Shastra, he has now to do the yajna. And for that, he has to go around, collect the firewood, he has to collect the ghee, he has to collect so many items which are samagri. With the so many items which are required to be assembled before he even commences the Agnihotra Yaga. And then he has to perform the Yaga by oblation, etc. And after that, what he has to be done is also prescribed. Whereas in the case of Atma-related sentences, there is nothing to be done. Because after the knowledge of the content, means the meaning and the method of the fruit, etc., instructions such as Agnihotra, actions such as Agnihotra remains to be done after having collected the prescribed materials for the accessories. Just as this action has to be done by an ignorant person who is endowed with the idea of this type of, I am the doer, this is my duty to do Agnihotra. Whereas for a wise person, nothing exists in time after the knowledge of the content of the sentence revealing the nature of Atma, that Atma is not born. But on the other hand, nothing else arises other than the knowledge regarding the oneness, non-doership, etc. in the form such as, I am not the doer nor the enjoyer. Thus, this kind of distinction is tenable. So he is refuting that. In the case of a ignorant person, when he is being told that the Agnihotra has to be done, he has to now prepare all those things which I told. Whereas in the case of a wise person, Tad Tvamasi, or that na jayate mriyate va kadachit. All these statements from the Shastra is making him knowledgeable about his true nature. And he is not getting not getting any idea that he has to go and do certain things, etc. This problem which is faced by the wise person, there is no problem for him to do any after deeds when he knows. Because this is what is called the Vastu Tantra. Whereas the Agnihotra, etc. is Kartru Tantra. Kartru Tantra means doership. In the doership activity, the doing has to be accompanied by actions. Actions including preparation, readiness, preparation, execution, culmination, etc. That is the Kartru Tantra. Whereas in the case of a Vastu Tantra, the truth is exposed or instructed. Like, this is a fire. A person who has been told this is a fire, he is seeing the fire burning. He has nothing more to do after knowing that the one what he is seeing as burning is fire. He doesn't have to go and collect firewood and make the fire burn more or anything like that. There is no activity required for that further. All he is knowing is that is just a knowership. Like the doership in the other case, here this is the knowership. He has pure knowledge with which he becomes the owner of the knowledge. By getting the doership, you have to do activity to own the action. Here, there is no action required to become the owner of the knowledge. Therefore, this kind of distinction between a ignorant person and a wise person is tenable. Yaha puna karta aham iti veti atmanam tasya mama idam kartavyam iti avasyam bhavini buddhi syad tadapekshaya sa adikriyate iti tam prati karmani sambhavanti. Again, for anyone who thinks of himself as I am the doer, inevitably there will be the idea this is my duty. Mama idam kartavyam. This is kartavyam is kriya, action. From the standpoint of the mindset, that person becomes eligible for action. Because when he heard that Agnihotram Juhyat, you should do Agnihotram, he immediately felt that it is my duty. Such a avidwan, such a person is an ignorant person. Ubautau na vijanitaha. Iti vachanat visheshitasya cha vidushaha akshepa vachanat cha katam sap purusha iti. Tasmat visheshitasya avikriyatma darshinaha vidushaha mumukshahascha sarvakarma sannyase eva adhikaraha. Now Shankaracharya is bringing the sarvakarma adhikara. This is a long description which we will continue in the next class, that is tomorrow. Because if I start now, I cannot complete it. He is delving onto the aspect of what is the Sarva Karma Sannyasa and how it is done, whom it is acceptable, why it is to be done, all those things he is going into very, very, very detail of it, which will be very helpful for us. What is real sannyasa? What is the sarva karma sannyasa? And that other sannyasas which we are seeing in the world, all those can be discussed tomorrow. I'll stop it here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyawada.
Thank you very much, Bindoji. Thanks everyone for listening and attending. The chat and hand raising will be open shortly. If you have any questions, please come up.
We'll continue tomorrow then. They think maybe tomorrow or Friday they will come out with clarifications. Okay, Prakash?
Karen is coming up.
Okay. Namaste, Karen. She has removed it. Okay. It might be by mistake.
But in spite of the holidays, we got quite a few people come and attend.
Karen, if you are not able to come up, please type it in the chat. Or if you want to mention anything. Nothing works. Your chat I can see, so you can type there. She left. Maybe she'll come back. Yes, Karen.
Do you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That was a struggle. Just a quick confirmation, please,
Yes.
about the world, because we all have the idea that we need to change the world, save the people, things like that. So under what you told today, you got to be careful for that it's not the mental will, but the action is not coming from the mind, but from self, right?
Yeah, you will get the clarity after tomorrow's lecture also, because I have not completed as aspect of it. Shankaracharya is getting into the detail of that. Where is the doership? Everything is residing. Who is deciding that doership, etc. We will delve into details tomorrow better.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Karin. So anyway, if the question is very valid, I will address that tomorrow.
Understood.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming, and we will continue tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. IST. Thank you again, Bindoji, for this deep manana, and see you all tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. IST. Over to you, Bindoji.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Karin, for your valid question. And thank you all for being there. Tomorrow we will continue the balance of this commentary by Shankaracharya, and then we can have the discussion in detail. And this Friday also we will keep the Bhagavad Gita discussions, so that Sunday we can have for the open house. Over. Okay. Hari Om. Namaste. Good night.
Good night. Good night.